Today, we're going to talk about relationships, the importance of them, and the 5 personal relationships you should have in your life for not only a successful life, but a satisfying one. I believe that God created man for connection, but not only connection with him, but for connection with each other. When he gave us the blessing and the command to be fruitful and multiply, those are 2 things that you cannot do without connection with others. And I know there are a lot of social media things nowadays that speak contrary to this, to say that you don't have to have relationships. You don't have to have other people in your life. You can go get it by yourself. But I think that's the furthest from the truth. And even if we look at case studies of people who have been at the pinnacle of success, where they are, have all the money, all the championships, all the business, whatever it is, that they are unfulfilled, right? They don't have a fulfilling life because they are lacking connection. And there are many stories of these people, taking their own lives because of it. So we're going to talk about connection today. And before we get into it, before we jump into the meat, if you are somebody who regularly comes to this channel and listens to what we have to say here, please make sure you like and subscribe. It goes a long way in helping to get the channel out to more people on the algorithm, and share it with someone who you think might find the content valuable. So let's jump into it. We're all familiar with the story of Abraham and how God called him, but I want to read just the first part of Genesis chapter 12, Genesis 12, 1 through 4, just for a little emphasis before we get into the rest of the story, right? I want to use this as our baseline and our foundation. Genesis 12 says, "The Lord said to Abram, go out of your land, your relatives, and your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse anyone who treats you with contempt." And some verses say, "I will curse those who curse you. And all the peoples on the earth will be blessed through you." Verse 4. So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Okay, so we know that the Lord called Abram, but who went with him? He said, "Yo, go out of your land, go out of your relative's house, like leave that place. I'm taking you to a land." And Lot, his nephew, went with him. And as they were going, Abraham had all of his possessions. We learned that Abraham was very rich in silver, cattle, and gold, as we are going through in chapter 13. Then we get to the land after they pass through Egypt, and Abraham and Lot, they see this vast land, and they got all of these things that they got going on, right? So God called Abram, and Lot came with him. And God put Abram and all his possessions, he was very rich in silver, cattle, and gold, and all his possessions inside this land. And Lot was able to reap off of that. And when they get to the land, their herdsmen, right? Lot's herdsmen and Abram's herdsmen, they start going at it. They beefing over their sheep and their cattle and all of that stuff. And Abram was like, "Listen, I don't want us to be fighting. I don't want us to get over it. I don't want us to, have material possessions come between our relationship as family. So I'm going to, wherever you look, if you look on the east, I'll go to the west. If you look to the west, I'll go to the east. Like you take whatever side of the land that you want, and I'm going to take my stuff over here." And Lot looked and was like, his eyes got big, and he saw the land over near Sodom, and he separated from Abram, and he took his people and he went over towards this side of the land, which was near Sodom and Gomorrah. Then we fast forward through the story, and we see that the kings of the surrounding places went and basically started taking over all the things that they had in Lot's land and kidnapped him. And one of the guys escaped, ran back to Abram, and was like, "Yo, they coming out here. They got him captive, and they got his stuff." And Abraham was like, "Say less, I got you." He took his men. He's like, "Yo, you, come on, let's go." And he went and fought, and he got Lot back, right? And now Lot and his people, they're hanging out. They're living over there in Sodom and Gomorrah. But then in Genesis chapter 18, we see the angels of the Lord, Yahweh himself, visits Abraham to tell him, and this is a Bible study for another day, to tell him what he's about to do to Sodom and Gomorrah. And then Abraham's like, wait, hold on. Like, if you find even 50, if you find 40, he's bargaining and interceding for the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, because Lot and his family are there. He's like, "I got family over there. Like, if you find somebody righteous," right? It's not that Lot was taking part in what they were doing, but he was there. He was in that environment. He was in the environment that was about to be destroyed, and he was none the wiser to it. But Abraham was there to call him out of it. So then God was like, "Yeah, I got you," and they ended up pulling Lot out of his out of the danger before it was destroyed. But his wife, looked back, and we know that story. So that's all to say. Lot's entire life, what we know of it in those 3 chapters that I just mentioned, went from, in a land that was going to be destroyed to being able to come out of, or excuse me, he went from following the blessing that the person he was connected to was going to receive and being able to take part in that because he was connected to him, to now basically coming up off of that blessing once they got there, and then putting himself in a situation where he had to be rescued by that very person who he originally got his blessings because of the connection, right? So this is all to say that your relationship that you have with someone, that connection you have with someone, can be the very union that you need in order for you to have an uprising, right? In order for you to come up. That very same relationship or a different relationship, whatever relationship it is, could be the very relationship that can delay your destruction, that can delay the very thing that is trying to pull you down and tear you down. So it's important to be discerning. It's important to be wise to who is in your environment and what environment you're in and who you're surrounding, because your connection should be strategic. Your connection could mean a rise in your destiny or a boost towards it, or it can mean a delay or a cutting off of it, right? So we see this entire story arc through Abram's and Lot's relationship, right? And it's important to not cut off relationships in the immediate because they don't serve you, right? We'll get into a whole nother thing about the when to cut off relationships and the discerning of the relationships. But when we talk about our personal, this was a personal relationship. Lot and Abram were family, right? So when we talk about our personal relationships, there are 5 relationships that I believe that we should have, and I think number 5 is the most important. But it can be on you. First, we need and these are no in particular order, by the way. First, we need a partner. We need a partner in life, right? We need a partner who's going to do life with us, who we are on the same page with things. We know we have the same foundation of whether it's faith, whether it's what we see our future as, what we see how we're going to live our day to day. Like, you need a partner in life. You need a partner in life. You need a partner in business too, but we're talking about personal things, right? So you need a partner in life. I haven't seen someone who doesn't feel fulfilled. When I used to work in a retail store, and we used to see old people come in all the time. And when we see the old couples, we talk to them, we ask them, what is it? And they seem fulfilled because they were on the same page, right? They were truly partnership. They were truly in partnership in their life. So I believe you need a partner in life to help you go through. Number 2, you need somebody who is sharing in the same passions that you share in, right? Someone who you can laugh with. Your bond is easy. Someone who and this doesn't have to be the same person, right? I would like it to be, but it can be somebody who you just like, like that person makes me laugh. That person makes me cry. That person cries with me. That person is like the person who helps lift my spirits in any way, shape, or form. That person, we can just spend all day together and it be whatever, because we have the same passion and we're going forward in the ways that we need to in our own individual lives, and we're helping pull each other forward. And then that brings me to the third. You need a connection with someone who will keep you accountable. You need the connection or somebody who will give you constructive criticism. That connection with someone who will convict you of the things that are keeping you off, or that are taking you off path, taking you out of character, right? That accountability person. You need that person who's not afraid to say, you're not going to get this if you continue to do that. That person to say, that's wrong. That's not like you. That's not the type of person you are. And again, this person has to come with a high level of trust, right? You have to trust that person that they are doing this in your best interest. You have to trust that they are not saying it because they're not correcting you because it's what they think, but you guys share the same foundation and they know that you are now stepping off of that path. You are now stepping onto rocky ground and they want to keep you off of there. And you know they got their best interest in mind. So you need that person who is going to keep you accountable in life in all areas, right? Then you need your cheerleader. You need that person who is going to celebrate you when you're up, who's going to comfort you when you lose, who's going to be like, you got it, let's go, who's going to encourage you. Like, be that person's biggest cheerleader. And you guys should be cheering on each other through all things that you do, whether you are business partners, whether you are spouses, whether you're friends. Like, you should look and say, I like to see you win. Hey, I like to see you win. Let's win together, or let's continue to celebrate each other as we win. And then when we're down, I'll lend you a helping hand. I'll pull you up. I'm going to get your spirits up and we're good. Right. And the last one, which I think is the most important, I could have said it first, but saved it for last, is you need a prayer warrior. You need a person who's going to pray with you. You need a person who's going to pray for you. You need a person who's going to intercede, a person who's going to, pray for your destiny to be unlocked, pray for the delays to come off. You need that person who's going to pray the things that are trying to hold you back away. Pray that the things that will push you forward will come, right? You need that person. That person is the ideal human to have in your pocket at all times. Now, this person, now all 5 of these, I know you were thinking and you have somebody who you thought when I said each one of those, right? That person might be the same person. Now, my own personal opinion and thoughts on that is that I believe that there are times where people come just for seasons of your life. Now, if that person is everything to you in that moment and you have nobody else who can step into any one of those roles, that's where people start to feel a void. That's where people start to feel like they don't have this connection because that one person now left your life there. Your season is over. And then now you're reaching for something. That's why I believe it's super important to build our foundation on God so that He is all 5 of those for us. However, He be able to lead and place us in position in front of different people who can be that for us so that if one leaves from this season in life, I have someone else who can step into that role. I have somebody else who can step into that role. And I think it's very important. And for me, again, I intend to be all of those for my spouse, and I want my spouse to be all of those for me. But I will have other people, like my mother is 2 or 3 of those, right? She's my number one fan, my biggest supporter. She is my prayer warrior. Call and pray. I am her prayer warrior. Call and pray. And right, this is, it's okay that is there. And then my wife will be both of those as well, right? And then the other 3 as well. And then I have a homie, over here, and I'll have a homie over here, and I'll make business connections here, right? So it's important that you have those 5. And I want you to think, if you don't have those 5, if you can't think of at least one person for each one on the list, or one person who covers all of them on the list, then start thinking about how you're connecting. Start thinking about, am I pulling back from people? Am I intentionally having a wall up? Am I not willing to correct myself in order for me to maintain the relationships that I have in those life and in the life? Am I looking in the wrong spots for the relationships that are going to fill these roles, right? All of these things play a factor in it, but it's important just to understand that you need those 5 things in your life. So there you go, the 5 relationships that you need in your life. And as always, if you find this content valuable and you want to support, make sure you subscribe and like and share with someone else who you want to see build these relationships in their life.